Tonight, a sports conference held on campus.
Plus, students participate in a game based on a TV show. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision Nightly News for April 11, 2013. I'm Haley Greathouse.
And I'm Deatra Montgomery. Thanks for joining us this evening. Well, sports management practitioners from around the country are in Troy this week to share their knowledge of the field of sports management. Justin McNally has the details.
The 9th annual Southern Sport Management Conference got things started on Wednesday to help students in the sporting world hear from those who were in their shoes not that long ago. The Southern Sport Management Conference is held every year here at Troy University to help educate those who will lead the champions of tomorrow. Troy's athletic director John Hartwell was first up to the mic as he discussed his steady climb up the ranks from his time at the Citadel. And he offered the students some sound advice.
Get out and get involved. Say, hey, I want to volunteer, because all of those experiences will help resume building and certainly career-wise down the road.
And while the conference is here to benefit students, professors and sports practitioners from all over the South all had something they wanted to gain from this three-day event.
That our last session is packed. You know, that'll be a good one because that's our young professional session, and just we've started off really strong. We have a lot of people in attendance, and just everybody leaves with a good experience.
I kind of like to talk to students about letting them know that it's okay not to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives, because I don't think any of us do, or very few of us do.
They're doing a session on pregame prayer and religious activities and sports. That seems like it's going to be an interesting one. And
with 2 days still to go in the conference, students have the opportunity to network and get their name out there in the sport management business.
And there's also that handful of students who say, okay, I want to connect with people. What it shows with them is initiative. It shows that they're being very proactive in what their future career is.
Hopefully maybe network with a couple of schools here that have graduate programs or potential practitioners for job applications.
Justin McNally, Troy, TrojanVision News.
This was the 9th year the Southern Sports Management Conference was held in Troy.
Troy Fest is right around the corner, and in addition to the various arts and crafts vendors, organizers are adding a new musical twist to this year's festivities. Troy Fest is looking for local songwriters to compete in their first ever Songwriters Festival. There are 3 categories of competition: contemporary pop, country bluegrass, and inspirational. The winners of the competition will get the chance to open for the band Vertical Horizon during Saturday night concert of Troy Fest. Organizers say the competition is for talented songwriters and not necessarily talented performers.
Each of the contestants will be performing their song, and we know that a lot of songwriters don't pride themselves on necessarily being performers, so the judging is based strictly on lyrics and the musical composition and other items on that lines and not necessarily the performance.
Applications for the competition are available at troyfest.com/songwritersfestival. Troy Fest will be April 27th and 28th on the square in downtown Troy. We will learn more about the contest and the festival later in the show in Trojan Talk. Can you move an Oreo from your forehead to your mouth and eat it without using your hands?
I'm not sure if I could, but some Troy students were up to the challenge as they competed in a Troy University version of the game show Minute to Win It. Lloyd Price shows us how.
On Wednesday night, the University Activities Council held an event called Minute to Win It in the Trojan Center ballrooms. The event was based on the popular television game show by the same name and featured students competing in various individual and team challenges, which had to be completed in 1 minute or less to win. UAC Vice President Tiffany Slater explained some of the challenges students participated in.
So we played Minute to Win It. It's actually a TV game show, and it was really fun. You have like 60 seconds to do certain tasks, and like the task I had to complete today was I had to eat 4 Oreos, but I had to do it within 40 seconds, and I lost, but it's okay. Some other tasks they had to do was like you had to hula hoop for 60 seconds without dropping it like so many times, or you had to bounce the ball so many times within 60 seconds.
UAC member Alexis Seymour said the event was about more than just having fun.
The purpose of tonight's event, I guess, was to basically, work, see if you could work as a team to get your job accomplished, as you progress throughout Troy University. We have different events you have to work. Sometimes you have to work alone, sometimes you have to work as a team, and it's just important to know how to do both and how to balance both.
There were 30 to 40 students participating in Minute to Win It, and most seemed to be enjoying the games, free food, and spending time with friends.
The wheelbarrow race around the circle. That was my favorite because we won this.
Other student challenges included spinning a kickball on one finger, emptying a large box of tissues faster than the other teams, doing the most cartwheels in 1 minute, and various hula hoop challenges.
The event tonight was extremely successful. I wish more people could have came out, but of course this will be an event that we'll do sometime next semester.
Lloyd Price, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Again, the UAC's next event will be Spring Fling next Wednesday.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Birmingham, forecasters say there is a chance of severe weather across Alabama, and many areas already are taking precautions. The Weather Service says there's a medium risk of tornadoes, flooding, and damaging winds across central Alabama today, with lower chances in northern and southern ends of the state.
In Montgomery, unionized bus drivers and mechanics with the Montgomery Area Transit System are threatening to go on strike. The Montgomery Advertiser reports the wages and insurance costs are key issues in the dispute. Union officials say they are awaiting on an investigation by the National Labor Relations Board before determining their next steps.
And in Tuscumbia, the Alabama Music Hall of Fame's Board of Directors has given its executive director the authority to consider offers to move the attraction to Birmingham or Huntsville. The Times Daily reports that Tuscumbia facility remains closed with no plans to reopen.
And so to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the baseball team faced their second straight in-state opponent last night, and Daniel Percival will have the details on that game and more ahead in sports.
But first, the Senate continues to meet concerning possible legislation on gun control. We'll have that story and more when we return.
Call for action on gun violence as a new gun bill passes its first test in the Senate. I'm Danielle Nottingham in Washington. I'll have the story coming up.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At iava.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. iava.org. We've got your back.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Haley Greathouse at the Global News Desk. Haley.
Senate Democrats overcame the threat of a filibuster, clearing the way for a debate on gun control legislation. Some of the family members of Sandy Hook school shooting were there to see the vote. They're on Capitol Hill for a third day lobbying Congress for tighter gun control laws. We get more from Danielle Nottingham in Washington.
Gun control activists placed crosses for shooting victims on the National Mall Thursday and pressed Congress for action.
The yeas are 68.
In the Senate, the first vote went their way. 16 Republicans joined 52 Democrats to block a conservative effort that would have stopped the debate on new gun legislation before it even began.
I salute those members of the Senate from both sides of the aisle who supported that motion to proceed.
After the vote, President Obama called Sandy Hook families who spent the week meeting with lawmakers and congratulated them on this first step. Senators will begin debate with the expanded background check compromise that Democrat Joe Manchin and Republican Pat Toomey announced Wednesday. But several Republicans say they won't support it.
The government should not punish or harass law-abiding citizens in the exercise of their Second Amendment rights.
Here on the National Mall, volunteers placed 3,300 markers, one for each victim of gun violence since the Newtown tragedy. Religious leaders took turns reading the victims' names.
We can never take life for granted again.
Pastor Samuel Saylor of Hartford, Connecticut said the issue hit close to home. His own son was shot and killed last October. Pastor Saylor wants lawmakers to see the toll gun violence is taking.
When you say America, this is the vision that we want you to have, that our children live, that they're not hovering in corners, losing their lives to assassins' bullets.
The Senate is expected to take a vote on the background check measure next week. Danielle Nottingham at CBS News, Washington.
Tornadoes, snow, ice, and powerful winds have damaged homes and knocked out power from the south through the Midwest. Marley Hall has the latest details from New York.
Crews are assessing damage in a St. Louis suburb today where a possible tornado tore through. The roofs of at least 24 homes are damaged. Fallen trees block doorways, trapping people in their homes. In another neighborhood, part of a roof, including a TV satellite dish, landed on a car. One resident said it sounded like a freight train hit his home.
And I heard a loud whistle and then a roaring, like rumbling, and the whole house shook. Then lights went out, and it was almost over that fast.
A state of emergency was declared in Missouri after a violent storm rumbled through St. Louis. Lightning lit up the St. Louis Arch. Wind gusts of 100 miles per hour were recorded in Sullivan, Missouri. Several people suffered broken bones. Several people were also injured in Arkansas as twisters destroyed dozens of homes and a church. In Minnesota, several inches of wet snow fell this morning. Parts of the state could get a foot of new snow today. That's on top of the ice storm that damaged budding trees and knocked out power to thousands of homes there yesterday. The governor called in the National Guard. Marley Hall for CBS News.
Threats from North Korea and the conflict in Syria were top of the agenda at a G8 meeting in London. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry took part in the two-day talks that began on Wednesday. Tina Cross reports from London.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry met with foreign ministers in London to discuss some of the world's biggest dangers. Leaders from 8 of the wealthiest nations condemned North Korea's nuclear program and said its war rhetoric needs to end.
We urge them to engage in credible and authentic multilateral talks on denuclearization.
The communist country fired another threat on state television Thursday, saying when North Korea pushes the button, their enemies will be turned into a sea of flames. North Korea has been making threats against South Korea, Japan, and U.S. bases in the region. G8 leaders also discussed the civil war in Syria. A U.S.-based human rights group says government forces have killed at least 4,300 civilians since last summer. Syrian opposition leaders came to London to meet with G8 ministers on the sidelines. They asked for more aid to help rebel forces. Secretary of State Kerry met with leaders of the Syrian National Coalition on Wednesday to discuss ways to get aid to the rebels trying to take down President Bashar Assad's regime. The U.S. has so far chosen not to provide them with weapons. G8 leaders called on the international community to give more humanitarian aid to help Syrian civilians caught in the crossfire. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Deatra.
Thanks, Haley. And now Danielle Percival joins us with sports. So Danielle, the baseball team was in action last night against an in-state opponent.
Well, that's right, Deatra. For the second night in a row, the Trojans were taking on an in-state opponent. They'd had success against Jacksonville State. We're looking for the same result against Sanford, so let's get into the details of the game.
All right.
After scoring nearly all of their runs in one inning in a victory over Jax State Tuesday night, the Trojan baseball team decided to spread the scoring around in their defeat of Sanford last night. Troy scored in 6 different innings, including multiple runs in 5 frames en route to a 15-4 victory at Sanford. At the plate, Logan Pierce finished with 3 hits, 4 runs scored, and 2 RBI. Danny Collins had 3 hits, 2 of those were doubles, 3 runs scored and 3 RBI, and Trey Santos added 3 hits, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBI. Got all that? Thomas Austin tossed 3 scoreless frames out of the Troy bullpen to pick up his 2nd win of the season. Austin's 2.55 ERA is the lowest on the team of pitchers who have been in for more than 10 innings this season. Troy has now won 10 of its last 12 games and now faces a 3-game set this weekend with Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers enter the weekend tied with Florida Atlantic for first place in the Sun Belt, just 1 game ahead of the Trojans. And for the softball team, they were in state as well, but the reception in Auburn wasn't quite as welcoming as the Magic City was for the baseball team. Auburn only allowed 1 hit in a 6-1 defeat of the Trojans in Auburn last night. Bailey Blake picked up the lone hit for the Trojans with a line drive single to right field in the 3rd. Troy picked up its only run in the top of the 6th, in part due to 2 Auburn errors after Chandler Griffin reached on a dropped fly ball by the Auburn right fielder. Rachel Rigney took the loss and lasted just 3 2/3 innings. The freshman gave up 6 hits and 4 runs while striking out 3 and walking 3 batters. Troy returns to Sunbelt Conference play, taking on FIU in a doubleheader starting Saturday afternoon at 4 in Miami. And the track team will be heading outside the state of Alabama for the first time in a few weekends as they head to Georgia for 2 events. Today, the Georgia Bulldog Decathlon Heptathlon begins with Veronica Bryant and Sam Johnson participating for the Trojans. The Georgia Specktown relays begin on Friday afternoon and run throughout the day on Saturday. The team is coming off a good showing at the Tiger Track Classic, where several Trojans moved to the top of the Sunbelt performance list. The Trojans have just 3 meets remaining before the Sunbelt Conference Championships, which will be in Miami in May. The rodeo team is back in action tonight and looking to get back to their winning ways. The women opened 2013 with 3 consecutive team victories before finishing in 2nd last weekend. Even without having the team title last weekend, the women are in control of the Ozark region and ranked 5th nationally and nearly guaranteed a spot in the College National Finals Rodeo in Casper, Wyoming in June. But head coach Josh Simmons says their focus right now is on this weekend.
We've had a pretty strong year so far, and one of the nice things about it's a young team, so they're going to be here for 2 or 3 more years. It's not like it's a lot of seniors leading the pack, and we're losing them this year, you know. And but they're winning the region right now, leading it, and we're going into our last rodeo of the year, which is Martin, Tennessee, University of Tennessee at Martin, and we're just hoping to have a lot of success there. We've done well there the past 2 years, and we just hope to continue that and bring home another win.
The team will be competing at the UT Martin Rodeo this weekend, and since it is the Ozark Region finale, the champion will be crowned and the Trojans will likely have their ticket punched for the College National Finals. So Haley, Diatra, congratulations go out to the baseball team. They're really on a hot streak right now, and hopefully they can continue that against one of the top teams in the conference this weekend in Western Kentucky.
Exactly, and hopefully the softball team can bring in a win, especially because of this last loss they had.
Exactly. Hopefully they can have some success down against Florida International.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Danielle.
Thanks, guys.
Still to come, it's only 2 weeks before the Troy Festival. Find out more.
But our weather conditions are looking very different today compared to earlier this week. How long will these changes last, Marla?
Well, Diatra, we will definitely experience a change in weather conditions in a matter of hours, but I have more coming up next in weather.
Today, we gather to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. The woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
I would tell anybody, if you're getting your master's, I would start with Troy first.
It's easy, you can take classes online, you take them on the ground.
Because being a full-time mom, full-time dad, and working full-time with Troy, it was just perfect. It worked for us.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education with the flexibility you need. Troy University, it's all you need to know.
We both earned our masters in public administration, and I choose Troy.
We choose Troy.
That's right, we choose Troy.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Jamarlo Phillips joins us with weather.
So Jamarlo, we've seen cloudy skies and light showers today.
Yes, from the beginning of the week, we've seen some beautiful beautiful skies, but today we've seen cloudy conditions and, like you said, dreary weather as well. But I'll get to more of that right now. But first, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Taking a look across Bibb Grace Quad, we can see that it's been very cloudy today on the campus of Troy University. Students walking back and forth to classes. But as we go into our current conditions, we can see that our skies right now are partly cloudy. Temperatures coming in at 77 degrees. Dew point is at 68. Humidity is at 73%. Winds coming from the south at about 16 miles per hour. Taking a look at today's stats. Today we're able to see a high of 77 degrees, a low of 57. There was not much rain in our area for today, a few drizzle. Sun rose this morning at 6:19 a.m. and will set at 7:10 p.m. Taking a look at our temperatures across the state, we can see that we're experiencing those low 70 to mid 70 degree temperatures across the state right now in Alabama. Mobile sitting down here at 73 degrees. Huntsville's at 70 degrees. Birmingham 73. Montgomery 75. Troy 76. Some areas are still under a tornado watch, so definitely stay tuned in to your local weather stations. Taking a look at our current temperatures across the southeast, again, we can see that we're not experiencing those I guess we'll say warmer temperatures down here in Florida is at 81 degrees, 85 in Tampa. Very warm in those areas, almost reaching the 90-degree mark. But taking a look back again in our area, we're still experiencing those low 70-degree temperatures. But as we take a look at our current temperatures across the United States, we can see that in the north, definitely near Michigan, they're experiencing some very cool temperatures. Temperatures are down to the low 20s and to mid 30s. Going into our current surface map, we can see that we have a few high pressure systems, one down right here in the northern portion of Texas, as well as to the west of Texas, a stationary front connected to a cold front that's swooping down to the south of Texas, coming back up, reaching to the Louisiana and to the eastern portions of Mississippi. But taking a closer look into our area, we can see that we will be experiencing some rain in our area for the next maybe in the next few hours. We're expected to see maybe under an inch of rain, or maybe an inch or even 2 inches of rain. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Taking a look at our precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours. Again, like I said before, we may see up under an inch of rain, or maybe or maybe even half an inch of rain for the southeast. Going into Friday's forecast, Friday that rain will move out of our area, so we definitely will be experiencing some clear skies on Friday. And as we go into Saturday, again, clear skies on Saturday as well. But as we take a look at Florida, they will be experiencing maybe up under an inch, few showers, maybe under an inch of rain. As we go into Sunday, that rain will try to come back into our area. We may see a few showers on Sunday, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Maybe keep an umbrella on hand. Taking a look into Monday's forecast. Monday, that rain will come back into our area, like I said before. So going into the start of the week, we'll definitely be seeing some few showers. But as we take a look at tonight's forecast, tonight we'll be seeing overcast skies with severe showers and thunderstorms. Winds coming from the south at about 15 miles per hour with a low of 55 degrees. So if you are planning on getting out tonight, in which I hope you don't, make sure that you keep a jacket on hand and make sure that you keep an umbrella on hand, and definitely stay tuned into your local weather stations to keep updated on these weather conditions. Going into tomorrow's forecast, tomorrow we'll be seeing clear skies in the morning, mostly cloudy throughout the day. Winds coming from the north-northwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour with a high of 72 degrees. Tomorrow we'll begin to see those conditions that we've seen in the beginning of this week. Taking a look at our 4-day forecast. For Friday, we'll see partly cloudy skies with a high of 76 degrees and a low of 47 degrees. Taking a look at Saturday, 78 being our high, partly cloudy skies and a low of 51 degrees. And looking at Sunday and Monday at Yatra, and we definitely will see some thunderstorms on Sunday and Monday. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, definitely stay tuned to our local weather stations for, especially for tonight's forecast as well. So,
definitely.
Thanks, Jamarla.
Thank you.
Thank you.